Thanks for having me and extending. Giving testimony at 10 o'clock at night is awesome, actually. I'm glad we have this public process, and I live in the United States, so I can actually do this. I am Cara Kaser. I'm with the Grant Neighborhood Association. Grant Neighborhood Association did pass a resolution opposing the bridge. We haven't taken under consideration the modifications to 4D as of yet. We will do that at our next meeting, but I can tell you from conversations with neighborhood leaders that we will be leaning towards no for that as well. And I'll tell you why. If you can picture in your mind the A.C. Gilbert Discovery Village, those houses right underneath the Marion Street Bridge, you have those in your mind, okay? And also another part of Salem along 14th Street, kind of behind the Amtrak station. Kind of picture those houses in your mind. Mm-hmm. Both of those pictures should have elevated highways above them. And one of the reasons that we oppose this is because that is what it'll look like in the Highland neighborhood. You'll have an elevated span for, I don't remember how many feet, going through that neighborhood. You'll wipe out houses and businesses, but a lot of houses will remain in the shadow of this structure. They will literally live under the bridge. Their property values will go down because nobody wants to live under a bridge. Yards will have their size of lots will be cut in half, and children will be limited to where they're playing at. So that is the main reason that we're opposing this. We've talked as a group about, we would maybe accept a third bridge if it was kind of, somebody in our neighborhood group keeps bringing up the Selwood Bridge in Portland. If it was a Selwood style, level to level ground that was meant for residents to use, not trucks, not commercial business purposes, but residents to move between West and North Salem to really connect that. We think that could even maybe be a good thing. But as other people have said here, not this bridge and not this design. This design is based on something that doesn't consider people. And that's what really I feel and our group feels gets lost in this entire conversation is the people aspect. And we can talk about traffic counts, we can talk about pollution, we can talk about elevated structures. What it really comes down to are the people affected by this proposed bridge. And Salem has unfortunately let bad planning happen in the past, and especially in the Grant and Highland neighborhoods, the North Salem areas, the areas that are lower income, the areas that are more ethnically diverse, the areas where unfortunately have been sacrificed in the past. For whatever reasons, they just are. And none of the alternatives that were proposed included any other kind of bridge that was south of Market Street. They were all in North Salem. There was nothing outside of city limits. There was nothing in South Salem. And we really feel that that is a disservice to the community. And we feel that because the people are not part of this solution, they're not even part of this conversation a whole lot. There are a couple people tonight that have spoken out saying they live in these areas, but I feel really annoyed, I guess, that a lot of the decisions being made about this are people that don't even live in the area. And the fact of the matter is the people don't have as much political clout as a lot of other people do in Salem. For whatever reason, they might work 2 jobs, they might have 5 kids, they might not be able to catch the bus to get down to downtown. Whatever the reason is, they're not here. And I feel that they need to be here. One other point, and I'm going off of my notes right now, is when the task force was convened, when Julie first showed the slide at the very, very beginning, that citizen task force was convened, there were a lot of stakeholders invited, but I do have firsthand knowledge that not everyone was invited to the table. People were slowly invited as the process wore on. In fact, in Grant neighborhood, we had to have somebody replace somebody else to serve because they passed away, because the process was taking so long. At the very last meeting, there was somebody who was invited who didn't speak English. There were no translators provided to that person. They were also forced to vote on an alternative that they didn't know what they were voting for. I think there are serious ethical concerns that should be examined about the task force. You should also know that the task force was not a majority. There was 10 people who voted for 4D. There were 7 who voted for no build. And then the other 3 or 4 were scattered responses. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are there questions?